Checkered Flag Interactive 24 Designs in the Checkered Flag Racing League presents. The Traumatic Brain Injury Awareness 212 at Talladega Superspeedway, Tuesday, August 11th at 9 p.m. Eastern on CFI.
With our experience of computer graphics, 24 Designs can make you a customized graphic that fits your needs. With graphics for a website, we will make you a logo that fits your company at an affordable price. iRacing paint schemes are also our specialty and can be designed however you would like. If you need another type of online graphic, we can take care of those needs as well. Just contact us by going to www.24-designs.com and we will set you up with the best we have to offer. 24 Designs, where we design for you in mind.
Checkered Flag Interactive 24 Designs in the Checkered Flag Racing League presents. The Traumatic Brain Injury Awareness 212 at Talladega Superspeedway, Tuesday, August 11th at 9 p.m. Eastern on CFI.
It's time to go racing here in just about 15 minutes at the Speedway. Drivers are getting lined up here for the Super Late Model Clash here, their second annual event, the London Recreational Racing Super Late Model Clash here on Checkered Flag Interactive. It's Steve Bonesteel, Shane Doherty up in the booth, and Shane, this one is going to be a good one. I mean, we've got a lot of really talented drivers. It's a two-night event. Yesterday night, they got their 75-lap feature race kicked off, $25 to win that race. And then here tonight, night number 2, this is really the real clash. It's the 200-lapper here. We're 200 laps at Five Flag Speedway. $50 to the winners, $25 to second place, and then $10 to the third place winner. And then the Hour Expression Studios Hard Charger Award will be awarded to someone, as well as the Best Appearing Car Award, random draw 4th through 15th. And those are both $5 respectively. And Shane, this is going to be a good one.
It's absolutely going to be, Steve, and there's a lot of guys here tonight. 19 drivers I'm shown so far that will take the green flag. Some from the Upper Edge CMC Sportsman Series that you're used to watching every Thursday night, and some from the Super Late Model Series that the Upper Edge also runs, and there's plenty of talent here. Also got some guys making spot starts like Byron Daly, also J.D. Laird, first time in the Super Late Model, I believe, with these guys in the Upper Edge Racing League. So lots of new faces, but still lots of great talent here for tonight's event.
Yeah, definitely, and the weather is beautiful here today in Pensacola, Florida, as these drivers get down on the grid. We'll go through some interviews here. We'll talk about the drivers that are down on the grid, introduce you to some of them down here, and we'll talk about what we need to watch for through this race. And Shane, another interesting thing we need to talk about is starting, I do believe, next week with the new build. They've got the new interactive track surfaces. That's going to be interesting for sure.
Yeah, that's going to come to iRacing, and I think it's going to be the biggest change possibly in the history of iRacing compared to some of the new tire models. The dynamic track surface, it's been on the long bucket list for iRacing in several years, and finally next week it is going to come to the iRacing service. Very excited about that. Who isn't? It's going to redefine the way that the track reacts with the cars, and we're actually going to see possibly some different lines and different tracks, and especially at this place, as we've seen before on CFI, the inside and the outside grooves, or really the middle groove, seem to work, and bringing that track or dynamic track to the service definitely going to change that up a little bit, probably make the racing just that much more better. So we'll go ahead and introduce some of the drivers here for tonight's event. Chad Coleman is one of the drivers here in tonight's event. He's in the 6th car. He's currently shown on the pole in qualifying, but I do not believe that's how they will start. They're going to reset these guys after the practice is over. But also Shane Terrian is going to go ahead. He's 2nd right now in the 38. You see him mostly in the CMC Sportsman Series. Parker Travies. Don't see him a lot in the Upper Edge Racing League, so he's making a start here tonight. He's got the 3rd fastest time in qualifying at the moment. Kyle Holzhausen of the Holzhausen family, very well-known Super Late Model Series family up here in the Midwest. So he's up here in 4th, going to be very fast. Joe Lawrence, another CMC Sportsman Series driver, is up here in 5th. Also, Derek Holzhausen's up here in 6th at the moment. All these guys pretty close in times. Ryan Dyson is currently 7th, owner of the league, and also CMC Sportsman Series driver. J.D. Laird, talked about him earlier. He's up there in 8th right there. Byron Daly, your NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series driver, is currently 9th. And also Ryan Beagle, definitely someone who's into the Super Late Models here with the Upper Edge Racing League. He's currently in 10th. Michael Thompson, see him every night in the CMC Sportsman Series. He's currently 11th. Mike Tellier is 12th. Also Mark Murphy, he's 13th. Brant Graham, also a Super Late Model driver, is currently 14th. with Cale Thompson in 15th. Also have Willie Howells currently in the 16th spot with Brody McPherson and also Jason Thompson rounding out your field. Michael McLean is another driver in tonight's event, but he does not have a qualifying time down, so we'll see where he starts.
Keep talking.
So just about a couple minutes left here in practice before we get tonight's event underway. It's 205 laps. It's going to be very interesting to see, and it's definitely going to be an event to watch all night. It's a long race. It's a half-mile track, so you're going to have to take care of your car early on. I know we covered a event here for the 3-Wide Racing League, and the winner of that race really wasn't up front early on, so it's going to be interesting to see the guys up front. Can they stay there the entire length of the race and ultimately be there at the end when it counts the most?
Right now I'm trying to catch up to one of the drivers that's always one of the most competitive here. He's second on the times for the qualifying here, and I've got Shane Terrian, driver of the Evil Controllers, number 38. How you doing, Shane?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Oh, just getting ready to watch these boys go around here, including yourself, at Five Flag Speedway, a relatively new track here on the iRacing service. What are your thoughts going into such a big event?
Man, I don't know. I'm not usually good at these cars. Surprisingly, I got a good setup here this week. This track's pretty difficult. Coming off the corners, it's always going to be snappy loose, so that's what I'm going to be looking for this race, trying to keep my car clean. That's most likely the biggest issue all these drivers have been having all week is the looseness off the corner, so that's going to be the big thing to watch.
Now, with 200 laps on the board, that's a pretty long race at a place like this right here. You're going to be turning left almost every 10 seconds, basically. How do you deal with, keeping focused and staying in your rhythm and on your groove?
At this track, I'm not really sure. It's just patience. It's going to be hard. They're constantly turning left, so I don't really know. No race here. I haven't had a race here. Just been practicing, so it's gonna take some patience and some focus here tonight.
All right, Shane. Well, we're just moments away from seeing everything get kicked off here, so back up to you, Shane Dory, in the booth.
Yeah, that's my correction there. Actually, 200 laps allotted for tonight's event. I believe the 205 might be if we need to do some green-white checkers or something like that. I know iRacing doesn't allow that, so we'll get to the bottom of that, why they added the 5 laps before this is over. But so far, like 2 or 3 minutes left here in this practice. They're having the drivers meeting right now on the front straightaway, and then we'll line them up and get ready for what will be a very interesting race.
I'll throw it down to the infield for opening ceremonies.
Anthem, please. America's most patriotic rock band, Madison Rising.
Oh, say, can you see by the
And we are back here at the track, ready to get things all kicked off. Just moments away before drivers getting down into their cars for the race groove here, Shane. And this is it. These drivers are getting ready to go at it for almost $100 worth of prizes throughout the past 2 days. And the crowd has rolled in, the pace cars pulled out, and everyone's hopping down to the grid.
Yeah, definitely. When you take a look at the super late model and the kind of key events that happen all around the country, when you come to Five Flag Speedway, you know this is the place to race. And if you're in a super late model, and tonight it's no different on iRacing, the super late model Clash for the Upper Edge Racing League, plenty of drivers from all kinds of series all over Upper Edge's different weekly series, and also just different guys on iRacing that have been around for a long time and are here tonight to kind of show what they've got against some of these regulars. So we'll have to see how it all works out. It's definitely going to be an exciting night as the guys are gridding currently.
And now, Shane, I myself haven't actually turned any laps around this place. Have you been able to do any of that?
Unfortunately, I can say no. I've watched plenty of races here. Obviously, we both cover the 3-Wide Racing League, so I unfortunately can't give you the driver perspective on that, but it's definitely an interesting track. These guys, we saw it before, going to be very close to that pit wall in turns 3 and 4. Definitely don't want to hit that. These straightaways are pretty small, at least the front straightaway is, so if you see a car get into trouble there, that could be a huge mess. But other than that, the inside and outside grooves can kind of be worked in a little bit. We'll have to see if anyone can make those grooves work differently, and you just never know, really. It's just going to come down to when the green flag drops. We'll see what we got.
And as the field rolls off, these drivers all talking between each other, figuring out, as a team here, what you need to do in order to, figure out if you didn't quite get that qualifying effort that you wanted, if you're a little bit deeper in the field, there's a few things that you might need to do here, and it looks like the field's being adjusted or something, not entirely sure what's going on here as this first pace lap's getting a little bit interesting.
Yeah, what's going to happen here is the session reads 205 laps. That's why I was confused initially, but it looks like how the league's got it set up is the green flag will drop on lap 1, but the field is going to use the first 5 laps or so to get into the correct qualifying order. These were determined earlier, so they're going to go ahead, use the green flag conditions, get in the right order, and the race is officially going to start on the 5th lap to make it 200 laps. So it's an interesting way to put it up there, but I guess this is just how it's going to work, so we'll have to watch these guys get into the right running order here early on and then eventually start the race. So there you go, the green flag is out. Like I said, these guys will get into the correct starting order. It's just how the officials are going to have to work around the iRacing server default starting positions based off of a qualifying session. So all these guys get all ready to go here. We're about to go green here in a couple laps.
So from what I'm taking, Derek Holzhausen will be the driver to lead him down to the green flag here. Parker Traves will be on his outside. Joe Lawrence is going to be somewhere in that second row, looks like on the outside of the row there. And the rest of the field still trying to get themselves sorted out.
Yeah, Michael McLean had to come back from all the way at the back end of the field all the way up to the third starting spot. So after that, everyone else is falling into place here, and should only be 2 or more laps or so before we'll get this started. But Derek Holzhausen, Parker Traves, 2 very well-established super late model drivers here on the iRacing service. They're going to lead the field to the green here tonight. Should definitely be an interesting start. Got those 2 on the front row.
And another interesting thing that some of these drivers do need to remember, that this is a points-paying race for their Thompson Photography SLM Tour here. So a lot of these drivers are racing for points that do matter on a schedule, and you know what? There's still quite a few competitive racing racers and races still to be raced this season. Holy cow, I can't say that twice here. As we're just rolling around now, looks like the field is sorted out, just waiting. I do believe we'll get the green flag either next time or 2 times by.
Looks like we're going to go green this time by, so the wait is finally over. We've got the field in the correct running order, and they worked their way out of turn 2 here. Looks like the leader or pole sitter, Derek Holzhausen, will choose the inside line, that 87 car. So as the field makes their way into turn number 3, we're just about ready to get started.
And as the invisible, imaginary pace car pulls on off, we wait for Derek Holzhausen, and he's away as we get the super late model clash from Five Flag Speedway. We're kicked off here on CFI.
Strong start by Derek. Looks like it's going to be a good turns 1 and 2 for Parker Traves, and these 3 of
Ryan Dyson
Parker
makes contact with the 15, sends him up the track. Big wreck. Huge wreck.
Wow. Huge wreck. This is going to be half the field in the back half already on lap 1. Got several cars turned around here. Going to have to look at a replay of that, but wow, on the first lap.
All got started when the number 28 of Ryan Dyson just dives it underneath the 15. Takes it in really, really deep there, and as the 15's making his entry, unfortunately that just doesn't really work. We'll take another look at it.
Yeah, don't quite know if Michael McLean really saw Ryan there. He came into the corner. It looks like he kind of arced it out, not expecting the 28 to be there, but with how wide that back straightaway is, Ryan was able to sneak his nose in there, and unfortunately they make contact there. And just like I said, this track's pretty narrow when you get toward the front straightaway, so you get one car in the middle and it's pretty much impossible to avoid.
But early on, we've got multiple cars now getting quite a bit of damage here at Five Flags. This pit crews are going to be busy all night long. Chrome Horn's going to be used all night long at this place, so plenty of action's going to be going on around the track. I do believe we'll probably get the 2 to go this time by. And Shane, what a way to get the race kicked off for some of these guys. Wow.
Yeah, all that preparation, practice time, getting yourself in the right running order here early on, only on the first lap, to really have your night pretty much put to the grave, I guess you could say, for some of those guys. Saw some engine smoke from someone, also plenty of drivers with some pretty significant front and rear end damage, so that's going to hinder their nights, and have to see if maybe they can fix that up throughout the night. It's 200 laps, so they should have some time, but we'll just have to see how it waits. That happened on lap 1, but I guarantee it won't be the last time.
Top 5 as they run, we've got Derek Holzhausen, Parker Traves, Joe Lawrence, Ryan Dyson, and Willie Howells there, as the pace car light should go off this time by, and we'll get back to racing. There you have it, the pace car lights are off, the field's doubling back up, and unfortunately some of these drivers just really disappointed early on.
Yeah, definitely, especially since that happened toward the top end. We had guys who had, put themselves in a solid place to start this race, now going to have to battle back from some damage. So we'll have to see how everything works out here. The pace car gets ready to pull off here in turn 4. Derek Holzhausen still in the lead after starting on the pole. He'll elect the inside lane, and here we go. Green flags back out at the Five Flag Speedway.
And we'll see how this restart goes here. J.D. Laird, the first driver that I'm seeing trying to make a little bit of action happen, already got considerable damage on the outside of that machine there. Looks like he's already been able to get pancaked into the wall. And as they come up and off of 3 and 4 of the field here, just trying to pick up the momentum, quickly pick up those spots while you're right on top of each other. But Derek Olshausen uses his early speed right now, trying to pull away from Parker Traves. But we know, we've seen him before. Parker's pretty competitive when it comes to these short tracks, and you can't ever really count out Joe Lawrence either. So a lot of these drivers up towards the top 5 all have a pretty significant shot at this. I think if they're all there at the end of this race, they're all going to have a shot at really coming away victorious.
Yeah, definitely. And something to point out, those top 3 drivers, they have real world racing experience, maybe not in a super late model, but in some type of shape and form of a race car on short tracks. So they're definitely showing their experience here up tonight in the top 3, and really all on top of each other, though, Steve. It seems like Derek's pretty fast out there in the lead, but he's got 4 drivers right behind him that are pretty equal.
And J.D. Laird, even with that damage that he's got on that Aquatech machine, he's sitting right there in the back of the London Recreational Racing number 28 of Ryan Dyson, trying to make a move on him. And all the meanwhile, Parker Traves looking under Holzhausen for the lead, not making anything quite happen yet. We'll hop on the front bumper of Joe Lawrence, take a look at this battle.
Yeah, that 60 car Parker Traves might be a little faster through the center of the corner, just nowhere to go. See, Lawrence kind of drifts up a little bit there, maybe trying a different line. Really doesn't matter at this point, guys. Just searching for grip, trying to find out where their car hooks up the best, and so far really no one able to find an answer as they're all single file. And oh, huge wreck in turn 3 and 4 here. Got several cars pinned up against the inside wall.
Byron Daly involved, the 16 of Michael Thompson. Tough break. We'll take a look at the replay, see what happened.
Yeah, this is battle back for about the 6th spot or so, and it looks like the 19 car there gets into the back of Byron Daly. That would be Willie Howells, and really nowhere to go for everyone else. Some guys on the outside do a nice job of missing it, but really a pretty hard pile up there in turns 3 and 4.
Yep, that's for sure there. Just took a look at the replay. That slight bit of contact on that back bumper, and it really just took the whole toll.
Yeah, also the 16 of Michael Thompson involved. He's got some pretty heavy front end damage, so already 2 humongous wrecks, I guess, in the first 15 laps or so, and definitely not what we were expecting to see, but looks like the whole keeping your car clean early on is becoming even more important. So of the 18 cars that started tonight's event, currently 16 are left on the lead lap. So that's still plenty of drivers left on the lead lap despite the 2 big wrecks, but plenty of guys have been on and off pit road, getting fenders pulled, and really having their crews attend to their cars early on. It's always important if you get involved in a wreck very early in a race. Just come down pit road, take the time to lose the track position and get the car fixed, and hopefully have it in the best possible condition you can have it in, depending you don't get involved in other wrecks for the end. So plenty of guys taking advantage of this caution to do that, and pretty much we're left with about half the field that is still clean.
And, I mean, when it comes down to these SLMs, you can beat them pretty hard, and you can, you know, get some contacts and damage built up and still be pretty fast. It's just all about that suspension, if it lines back up and everything. Either way, green flag's back up in the air. A little bit of tire spin out of all of the drivers right there in the front rows. It looks like Parker Traves, though, gets a beautiful restart right onto the back bumper of Holzhausen. Joe Lawrence in the mix as well. J.D. Laird hopping underneath of Dyson. Dyson stuck up on the high side here. But at 5 flags, you can usually use that outside and at least maintain. You might not be able to be faster up there, but you can make a little bit of action happen up on that high side.
Yeah, we just saw the leader, Derek Holzhausen, jump up to the high side, and he actually gave up the inside and is possibly going to give up the lead here to Parker Traves, and he will as Parker completes the pass there, and going to have to see where Derek can slide in. Several guys single file on the inside, but Parker Traves, the first lead change of the night.
Yeah, really surprised that Holzhausen jumped up there so early on. Usually that high side, like I said, it works a little bit better as the run goes on, and that inside line gets harder to maintain. You can use the outside, pick up some momentum on the exit of the corners there, and usually at least be able to maintain and hold them off on that inside line. And, you know, you pinch them a little bit, then they make a mistake, and then you're able to stretch that lead back out. Looks like J.D. Laird's getting back up now into third, and then Joe Lawrence in that 78 Subway machine, right on the rear end of that 60 of Parker Traves. So, Shane, this number 78 looks pretty darn quick right now.
Yeah, first we thought Parker was a little bit faster than Derek, and now Parker's in the lead, pulling away a little bit, but Joe Lawrence in that 78, you said it best, Steve, got a really fast car, and he's coming to the front. Started 5th, he's up to 2nd, and Joe's definitely using his experience both in the real world and on iRacing in the Upper Edge Racing League to really have a good run so far tonight, and I have to see if he could possibly take away the lead here. He's pretty close.
One driver I am also keeping my eyes on is the 38 of Shane Terrian. Got damaged in that opening wreck there. Currently working pretty hard. He just got around Michael Thompson. Ryan Beagle's back there as well. So that Shane Terrian guy, he's back up to the top 10. We talked to him pre-race, but he's a little bit frustrated right now, of course, with all the damage on that machine. But he's still got some hope there in that number 38.
Yeah, he's definitely in the group of guys that they know they can't lead the race right now. They've got some damage. They're really feeling out their cars, seeing what's working and really what isn't at this point, seeing if they can maybe fix some things and change some things on the next pit stop. But I think these guys in the back ultimately got to make sure they stay on the lead lap. We've seen in the past when we get long green flag runs here, lap times are only 18 seconds or so, so these leaders continue to set a good pace. These guys in the back who are kind of nursing around cars could definitely be in trouble losing a lap before long.
All the while, Joe Lawrence working on the back bumper of Traves, trying to maybe, you know, arc the corners on the exit to get that inside edge down the straights, get the nose underneath of him going into a corner here, just not quite able to do so yet. It's so tough to pass here at 5 flags, just simply because all the lines really do kind of come back into one spot off the corner. So if you don't quite have that edge right away, you're not going to get it. And just like that, he was able to shove it underneath him right after the corner. And very smartly, though, Parker Traves lets him by, hops right there behind him. So we'll see how this number 78 machine does up in the lead. And maybe it just might be the curse of being the leader.
Might be, but that was a very interesting move he made last lap off turn 4 to Joe Lawrence. He kind of used the middle groove, but he arced it back down to the bottom when he got off the exit of turn 4, and he used that momentum from the top side in the middle of the turn to turn underneath and take the lead. So very strong move by Joe, and he's starting to pull away a little bit, something we haven't seen out of the leaders yet. So maybe that 78 car is a little bit more hooked up for the long run.
Byron Daly trying to work around Brant Graham, that 12 machine, that snap-on number 12, just limping it around the speedway right now after almost having a really close call coming up off turn 4. Got extremely loose there, trying to get his his bearings back underneath of him as that number 93 will sneak on by, make that pass. And Shane Terry, and we talked about him, he's coming into the picture as well, trying to crack back up and a little bit further than 10th and the 9th. So a lot of drivers coming and going. But right now, Joe Lawrence already has half of a second over Parker Traves.
Yeah, that definitely shows that Joe's car is not only fast, but very fast as the run goes on, as he continues to pull away. But also J.D. Laird has made his way up into the top 3. He's currently 4th, got around Ryan Dyson earlier on, and it's only about a second back of your leader, Joe Lawrence. So far in the time we've seen J.D. in the league, he's been very fast and always very fast on the iRacing service. So we'll have to see if he can maybe make his way toward the front here before long.
Mike Tellier just got put down by Byron Daly, and that is surprisingly Derek Holzhausen, and he's been passed by his brother Kyle already, and Kyle Holzhausen's up in the 5th after for a while just not even being on the map. So Shane, Derek, after letting these leaders go by, really just fell off the face of the earth.
He really is, and that could be two things. That could be a car issue, either something electrical or something's wrong in the car, or it could just be the setup. Maybe it's not the setup that he really wanted after all in the long run, and the car's just not handling for him right now. He's really fallen off the pace, and actually Byron Daly, with as much damage as he's gotten that front end, is catching him pretty rapidly. So Derek might be falling back pretty rapidly early on. Going to have to follow that story and see if there's something up with that 87 car.
Ryan Dyson at this battle here. That Aquatech number 23 just looking really good off the corners. Dyson's able to dive it in a little bit deeper. Might be a slight difference in setup, slight difference in driving style. But while they get ready to duke it out, here comes Kyle Holthausen underneath the 61 of Jason Thompson up in the outside wall. And there we go. We've got a 3-car battle starting to shape up. Joe Lawrence still stretching out his lead as we're battling for 9th.
Yeah, back here around 9th, got plenty of cars around each other. Mike Tellier, Shane Terry, and also got the 12 of Frank Graham and Ryan Beagle back here. All these guys fighting, and they're about 8 seconds or so off the lead, so they still have quite a gap back to your leader, but they're doing a nice job there, battling for every spot they've got. There's almost contact there between the 84 and 12, but looks like they sorted out.
It's still really tight right there. Holy cow, and that number 97 of Mike Tellier found the hole, and he jumped right to it there as Shane Terrian gets around him up to 8th. Impressive comeback after that damage earlier on. That 38 might just have one of the worst damaged cars out on the track right now.
Yeah, definitely. All these guys back here, like I said earlier, they're just doing the best they can right now, kind of feeling out what's right in the car and what still needs to be fixed. And you know, they can get a caution here, get back on pit road and make changes. It's, you know, it usually ends up being the guys who work on their car the most through these races that end up toward the front in the end. So you just never know when someone hits the right spot or makes the right change and gets toward the front, and all of a sudden there's speed no one's seen all day. So definitely wouldn't count any of these 4 in the back out, and just never know what can happen at the end of these things.
And Kyle Holzhausen puts Ryan and Laird both down a spot, so move that 88 all the way up into 3rd quickly on the move, running some of the quickest laps around the track here. Currently half of a tenth quicker than Joe Lawrence out in front, who's got a 1.3 second lead over Parker Traves. Ryan Beagle in the mix now with Shane Terrian as well, trying to get up and around him. I don't really believe he's got too much for this number 38, but we'll keep our eyes on it and see how he does here, as a lot of these drivers are starting to get stretched out.
definitely, and even seeing some lap traffic here, and we could see some more lap traffic in the coming laps because Joe Lawrence is out there really just putting hot laps down at this point, pulling away a niche to the leader there, or the second place driver, Parker Traves, by almost an entire tenth. So definitely the 78 car showing the long run speed that he needs early on. Just going to have to see if he can keep that up throughout the night.
Lawrence continuing to set the pace a little bit quicker still in comparison to Parker Traves, but Kyle Holzhausen still quicker than Lawrence himself. So right now the subway number 78 is clear sailing. Pit stops will be coming up in about 50 to 80 laps. So these drivers have a little bit of strategy to think about throughout the night on when they want to pit, what they want to do on pit road, and it's going to really probably come into play if we stay green for any significant amount of time, which we have so far. We've gone 55 laps now, caution free.
And there you go, second place. Change for second place. Kyle Holzhausen makes his way around Parker Traves and moves that 88 car once again up a spot. That car very fast, contrastingly to his brother Derek, who's still back in 7th. Kyle has shown the speed tonight that possibly he could be the fastest car out here tonight, and he just cut about half a tenth or so into the lead of Joe Lawrence. So now that, you know, Kyle's got that clean air, we'll just have to see if he can maybe track down Joe and make a pass for the lead.
Ryan Beagle was able to get up and around the number out here with clean cars, Shane.
Yeah, definitely. And the guys out here with clean cars, they know that definitely damage or anything like that isn't holding them back right now. They know if they're not where they want to be, it's all set up, and that's fixable completely. So these guys, you know, maybe not much of an uphill climb compared to the guys with damage, but I think ultimately it's just working on your car, doing the best you can to adapt to this track and find the best line that works for you, and ultimately that's going to help you get the best finish you can here tonight. So on this long run, though, these drivers have learned a lot about their cars, what they need, maybe what the track's doing, and maybe what other drivers are doing, and they've kind of learned that. So going to be interesting to see how the running order is if we do get a restart here sometime soon. Definitely going to have some guys on pit road when we do get a caution, if we do, and going to probably shake up this running order.
Byron Daly is under fire from Derek Holzhausen, who's trying to make a little bit of a resurgency here. That number 93 is way loose there, possibly even having a tire go down on that JD Graphics number 93. So that number 93, like I said, just very slow right now, struggling to get off the corners.
They also see in front of him the 23 JD Laird. Talked about him getting inside the top 4. He's back to 5th, and now he is falling rapidly as well. Derek's going to try and maybe crack back into the top 5 if he can get by JD here. These guys all about 8 seconds or so off the lead, and this is only for 5th, so definitely a dominating pace. His contact made a little bit there on corner entry. JD slides, does a nice job to save it. Derek Holzhausen using a little bit of that chrome horn there, Steve, to get by for 5th.
And you know, it's short track racing, baby. If you aren't using a chrome horn, and if you didn't expect to get the chrome horn, you came to the wrong damn place. So I tell you what, JD Laird and Also, that number 93 and Byron Daly, their teammates, I'm assuming, out here running basically sponsored affiliate sponsors there. They're both struggling the same, Shane. I almost want to say that it could be a flaw in their setup making these machines struggle so much.
Yeah, and they've been out here a long time. It's been well over 50, if not 60 laps, so you know the long run part of the setup that they have is probably not working for them, and they're going to have to bring it down pit road sooner or later and address that. It seemed like they had pretty good short run speed, so if we do get some late cautions, they might not be as bad off as they could be compared to this long run, but you know, you definitely, it's nice when you get a long run because you really learn everything about the car, and what you need to do is JD goes really sideways there, does a nice job to save it.
And as that happens, Ryan Dyson gets up and around Parker Traves, and Traves is right there on his back bumper still. Probably not going to be able to dive it back underneath of him, so he'll probably ride for the time being. Just let Dyson, you know, get his bearings underneath of him, and we'll just see how that one goes.
Ryan Dyson, Kyle Holzhausen, and also a little bit of Joe Lawrence, pretty much your top 3 fastest cars on this long run. And Kyle Holzhausen has come from 3 seconds back almost, and he is about ready to take this lead away. It might be no problem once they get around the 97 of Mike Tellier, because Kyle is just that much faster than Joe. And here he goes, takes a peek to the inside, nothing happening there. It's going to be sooner or later before Kyle's going to take this lead. Got a very fast car.
And this right here is interesting to watch, especially he was silent, you know, focused on where he was. Dark horse, and you know, it's hard to even say that because the Holzhausen name is, it's a household name when you come to a short track. They're always fast, and then here you are. He snuck into the top 5, and now he's made his way to the lead. Impressive pass there for Kyle Holzhausen.
Yeah, something tells me that car's handling so well, he probably doesn't want to see a caution for a long time, so he makes a pass and puts a car length on second place all in one lap, so you know that 88 car has got the speed, and there's currently only 10 cars left on the lead lap, but we got a couple cars 1 lap down, and also 2 or 3 multiple laps down. We got 14th Jason Thompson is 2 laps down, Brody McPherson is 15th 4 laps down, and then the rest of these guys toward the back end of the field, the final 3 are currently out and not on the racetrack. So still, despite the wrecks, plenty of guys still out there, and really only the top 10 left on the lead lap. If we get a long run, could definitely see more cars lose a lap, and definitely don't want to lose a lap on a short track. You want to come down pit road.
Byron Daly now under fire from another driver, Ryan Beagle. JD Laird's fallen even further back, so these JDR Graphics drivers, oh my gosh, looking at that number 3, Shane, he is all over the place. These machines have way fallen off.
Yeah, definitely very loose. That could be not enough air in the right rear, as you said before. Possibly a tire going down, or just something up with the right rear, because they're basically sliding sideways through these turns. No input there on the tight side at all whatsoever. So we'll have to see if they can maybe fix that if we get a caution. It's definitely something they're going to have to address if they want to get better, because you need that speed off the corner to be good on the straightaways here in the super late model, and if you just don't have that speed, it's definitely going to be tough to keep up. And these guys are about 12 to 13 seconds back, so it won't be long before we could see Kyle Holzhausen, who's pretty much got a perfectly handling car out there at the moment, catch the...
Oh yeah, taking a look, I mean, Byron Daly, pop a couple pounds of pressure into that right rear and throw a couple rounds of wedge in, and that'll tighten you up. But the question is it really all that simple? Is it a driving style problem? I mean, it's hard to say that it would be, because JD Laird's experiencing it too. So hopefully these drivers just will, you know, throw a couple changes into their setup and it'll at least stabilize the machines. But right now, if there were two drivers that I had to pick that were going to get in trouble, it's Byron Daly and J.D. Laird. J.D. Laird not nearly as bad as Daly, as he's slowed up the pace even more. But these guys are really struggling right now.
Yeah, definitely, and it looks like the leader Kyle Holzhausen has caught the back end of the field. Shane Tyrion, also Brant Graham back here at 9th and 10th. This is the 10th and 9th. This is the 9th and 10th place cars, I should say, better. They're about to get lapped, so that's just the pace we've seen from your leaders, especially now Kyle Holzhausen, who has a 2-second lead, just in about 10 to 15 laps after taking away that lead. So he has really pulled away and has had no problem navigating through some of this traffic. But now it looks like he's going to have to maybe turn up the wicker bill a little bit more here, because he's got to get by these two cars.
Yeah, he dives underneath of Tyrion, and Tyrion tried to put up a little bit of a fight. Can't blame him early on in this race, but at this point, his best hope might just be to stick behind that number 88, see if he can follow him through some traffic here. At number 12, right in front of him, that's Brant Graham. He's going to hop up to that outside line, and Holzhausen will pop up underneath him there. So, Shane, now that our leader is into the lap down traffic and continuing to extend his lead, things are going to continue to get a little more interesting as this goes on. But we're going to take a quick side-by-side commercial break. When we come back, we've got more for you here. Just as we say that, Mike Tellier goes around.
And this is pretty much going to bring us toward the halfway line, and very interesting to see Mike Tellier go around. Really didn't complain about handling problems throughout the race, and all of a sudden the car goes around there. So maybe in a little bit of a surprise to him, but it's just going to be a self-spin here, and this will give a lot of guys a chance to come down pit road and make those changes that they've been pretty much screaming for out of the last 10 to 15 laps or so.
I popped a look at that replay. Really looks like a blown tire there for Mike Tellier, so that's probably the cause of that spin. And so now this time, as the field is under caution, we're, like Shane said, when we go back to green, we're pretty much going to be at the halfway point. We're going to take that commercial break now after that wreck here, and we'll be back for plenty more here for the Super Late Model Clash from Five Flag Speedway. Line back up, the pace car's pulling off, and we are back to green flag racing.
Yeah, back here once again. Your leader Kyle Holzhausen takes the green. Joe Lawrence back there in second. Ryan Dyson looks like he's going to make the pass on Parker Traves for third. And these guys get pretty spread out here just on the first lap.
Yeah, we'll have to see how some of these drivers that we looked at earlier that were just so dang fast and then they fell off, we'll have to see how they do here. As that London Recreational Racing number 60 of Parker Traves is on the other London Recreational Racing machine of Dyson all over onto the inside. Is he going to get that nose? No, he's not, but he's got the run off the corner here. Big time run. Parker Traves on the inside. Now Derek Holzhausen right there behind him, also trying to get into the mix. And the number 28 of Ryan Dyson almost clears him on the outside. Wow, really tight racing, and Dyson will clear him.
Really strong run there by Ryan Dyson, but you're starting to see some of these guys with the short run cars now that the tire pressures have cooled down. No one up front made pit stops, so they're still all in the same tank of fuel and tires. It's really after that heat cycle is complete, after being under caution for so long, these guys who were good on the short run once again have a chance to use that speed. And so far Derek Holzhausen, he's still in fifth, but he's being pretty competitive after struggling a little bit on the long run. And also Ryan Dyson's up to third, and he's going to get to the back bumper of Joe Lawrence there. Doesn't make anything happen, but all these battling and these guys getting side by side has allowed Kyle Holzhausen to pretty much check out.
Caution is out again. Didn't catch what it's for.
Yeah, looks like this is going to be the competition caution here at halfway, so these guys will have a chance to bring it down pit road. So all the lead lap cars take this opportunity to come down pit road, and now it's going to be up to these super late model crews to make some work happen. We could see some strategy. Definitely going to be some longer pit stops, though. These are only the super late model crews, not nearly the fastest guys that you see each and every Thursday night in the Upper Edge CMC Sportsman Series. So we'll see how these stops are. Looks like everyone on pit road is going to go ahead and elect to take 4 tires, with the exception of possibly Ryan Dyson, as he's the first off. After looking back, though, it looks like the 28 of Ryan Dyson did take 4 tires, so he will be the leader, but it looks like he's coming back down on pit road, so interesting development there. He was going to be the leader, but back on pit road. But the pace car lights will go off here. Joe Lawrence is going to be the new leader. He'll be on the inside. Parker Traves also had a good pit stop. He's on the outside. Derek Holzhausen's up to third. Not the pit stop Kyle Holzhausen was looking for. He loses the lead. He's back to fourth. Have to see if he can make his way back up to the lead here on this restart. As the pace car pulls off, Joe Lawrence back on the gas. We are once again racing here at the Five Flags Speedway. Parker Traves makes a nice move in turn 3 and takes away the lead from Joe Lawrence and does it pretty easily. Makes a pretty big gap up on the front straightaway. So move the 60 car up to the first spot and he's pulling away. Starting to see some cars kind of re-emerge back toward the front. You got the 28 of Ryan Dyson. He makes a pass for third. Derek Holzhausen. And here comes Shane Terriot. Talked about him earlier. He was kind of making his way toward the mid of the field when we saw him before, but now he's inside the top 5. And he just made a nice pass there to move up to 4th. So that 38 car, despite the damage that he received earlier in the race, is doing a nice job up there in 4th. Parker Traves continues to pull away for a significant amount as Joe Lawrence is going to lose 2 spots in 1 lap. Ryan Dyson up to 2nd and Shane Terriot up to 3rd. Those 2 cars very fast, pretty much shot out of a cannon it seems like on this restart. All these top 3 drivers, a big surprise to be this fast early on in the second half of the race. Definitely either made the right adjustments or who knows what they did strategy-wise with the amount of fuel they put in these cars, if any. Definitely contributing and making them very fast.
Parker Traves now back in the lead. He's started to pull away Shane. He's 1.5 seconds ahead of Dyson. Shane Terriot's moved back up into 3rd as well.
Yeah, definitely all these guys in the top 3, they're pretty much really fast and pulling away from the rest of the field. It's actually a little bit strange. Didn't expect them to be that fast, and they are pulled away from some of the guys who have led the majority of the race. Joe Lawrence, Kyle Holzhausen. These guys are already 3+ seconds back from your leaders, so very interesting development here in the second half of the race.
Kyle Holzhausen, after leading 28 laps, is back into the mix. He's in 5th right now, trying to work back up to Joe Lawrence, Shane Terriot, Ryan Dyson, Parker Traves. We've got under 100 laps to go, Shane, so this race is starting to wind down. A couple of drivers we need to talk about still: J.D. Laird, Byron Daly. They're 7th and 8th respectively as they run right now. It's early in the run, but it looks like for the time being both of their machines are handling just a bit better. So depending on how this run goes, if we stay green, we'll have to see how their cars really do shape up on the long run to see if they'll have anything at the end of this race.
Yeah, definitely, and actually, as we speak of it, J.D. Laird's going to make a move on Derek Holzhausen, and he's going to take away the 6th spot, so J.D. back into the top 6, definitely a promising sign for that 23 car. He hasn't shown a lot of speed in the middle half of this race, and seems like that caution, chance to come down pit road and make those changes he needed, maybe even repair a little bit of that right side damage, and that car pretty sporty so far, and he could possibly be into the top 5 here before long.
I'm still so impressed with this number 38 of Shane Terriot inside the top 5 with a heavily damaged Evil Controller's Dodge Charger machine down there. He's still rolling like no other, trying to make it happen as Joe Lawrence is under fire from Holzhausen.
Yeah, Kyle's been fast all night, but so far all these guys have dropped back to 6 seconds behind your leader Parker Traves, but there is still a battle for 4th, and Joe has got it so far, and Kyle wants that spot. Also J.D. Laird and looks like Ryan Beagle have made their way up into the mix, so all 4 of these guys fighting for the 4th spot, and so far Joe Lawrence doing a nice job holding them back.
cluster of cars behind Kyle Holzhausen as J.D. Laird, Joe Lawrence are in the picture. Derek Holzhausen as well. And then Byron Daly's the last car on the lead lap, and they're all in this mix right here.
Definitely, and J.D. Laird, with some of the passes he's made, he's back up into the top 5, and also Ryan Beagle in that 84 car. He started 10th. He is 1 lap down, but he's running with these guys, so if he gets a chance to get back on the lead lap, that 84 car could definitely have a shot at the top 5. Have to see if he can get a caution here, maybe get that lap back. Could definitely be interesting toward the end of the race, but very surprised, extremely surprised, I guess, because Joe Lawrence, a guy who has led this race early on, and led up most of it for the most part, is back in 6th, and also Kyle Holzhausen, it seemed like after 30 laps or so had an absolutely perfect car. There was no one close to him. Well, he's 8.5 seconds off your leader right now, and we're only about 20 laps into the run, so it's definitely interesting to see this huge gap in speed after that pit stop.
It'll be interesting to see if more cautions fly, if they do, if they don't, how they play out to make the rest of this race and how it will make the complexity different or whatnot here. So still plenty of more racing to go. 133 laps into this thing, but Shane, there's really no clear-cut winners that I can pick yet.
Definitely, but so far the stock is rising, I guess you could say, for Parker Traves. Not seen the speed really out of him all night, but all of a sudden that car is the fastest car on the racetrack by far. I mean, he's beating guys by 2 or 3 tenths consistently per lap. He's built that lead up to 3.7 seconds, and it's just growing almost exponentially every lap. It's really surprising. They've pretty much hit the magic touch on that 60 car, and he's got the biggest lead out of anyone tonight.
And where's Joe Lawrence, you ask, after 45 laps of this race? Well, who was looking to be one after anything with it.
It's definitely interesting. This is just not something we quite understand after that halfway break that really just totally took away the dominance of the 78 car of Joe. And you know, Joe Lawrence has done a nice job to keep the car clean so far, but whatever's working for him early on is definitely not working for him anymore, and he's almost 13 seconds back. We could soon, in the next couple of minutes here, be talking about him possibly getting lapped. That's definitely something you wouldn't think about after that dominance early on.
Well, as we are approaching the final quarter of this race, we're going to take another quick commercial break here. When we come back, we'll take you through everything we need to know in the top 5 here, as this thing is coming down with the Super Late Model Clash from Five Flag Speedway.
With our experience of computer graphics, 24 Designs can make you a customized graphic that fits your needs. With graphics for a website, we will make you a logo that fits your company at an affordable price. iRacing paint schemes are also our specialty and can be designed however you would like. If you need another type of online graphic, we can take care of those needs as well. Just contact us by going to www.24-designs.com and we will set you up with the best we have to offer. 24 Designs, where we design for you in mind.
Contact one, and who will it be coming across the line? It will be Corey Hoover.
Coming through the corner, they hit!
They get together! Onto ourselves, Mike Tyson together! Hey, they all wrecking me! I never had trouble!
Back here on CFI in our top 5, coming to the final 50 laps here. Parker Traves, Ryan Dyson, Shane Terry, and JD Laird. Kyle Holzhausen, your top 5 in the London Recreational Racing Super Late Model Clash here from Five Flags Speedway, presented to you live here tonight by Checkered Flag Interactive.
And while we were under break, Parker Traves has done an incredible job to build really the biggest lead that pretty much that I've ever seen so far at this track. It's almost 6 seconds, and he's done this all in really not that many laps. We went green with about 45 to 50 laps ago or so, and he's built that lead. So pretty impressive by the 60 car. And as we wind this race down, as the laps continue to tick off and we get closer to the end, he's pretty much establishing himself as the fastest car here, and probably going to be one of the drivers to beat when it comes down to it late. But he's getting ready to lap a very fast car of Derek Holzhausen. He's only in 7th, but he's the next car to go a lap down.
Parker Traves has come all the way now to the back bumper of Derek Holzhausen, another driver that we saw up at the front that looked really quick and just was not able to maintain that speed, and now he's getting ready to go 1 lap down. He's probably going to put up a fight, which might help Ryan Dyson, but with that gap sitting at 5.5 seconds, it's only going to help him minimally here. So, Shane, you know, we watched these drivers going around this place and so many different things coming up, causing problems for a lot of these guys. What do you do now so late in the race to fix these things?
Well, I think definitely these guys have probably made their final pit stops, at least the front runners, so you've got what you've got pretty much at this point. The only adjustment you can make is how you drive the car, the line you take in the entry center and exit of the corner, and maybe the throttle input, and just try and pick up on something here. These guys have been running a lot of laps around this track tonight, and you know, they've had a lot of time to figure out what works for them and what doesn't. So you've pretty much got what you have, and you're just going to have to do the best you can and really just stay off the wall and take care of the car and give it your all.
Shane Terrian under fire from JD Laird. First pass we've seen in about 20 laps down on the track right now. as that number 23 is making the move underneath of the 38. And both of these drivers had significant right side damage coming up off the corner there. Nice little push out of that number 23, so J.D. Laird will clear Tarian and now move up into the 3rd position here. If we get a late race caution, Shane, things could definitely change up here when it comes to who's going to be leading this thing, but I think we really need a caution if things are going to change.
Yeah, definitely. There's no way I see Ryan Dyson making up 6-second gap, and a 6-second gap that continues to grow back to Parker Traves. So, I mean, we're going to need a caution for some of these guys to have a chance. J.D. Laird, for the first time tonight in a very long time, is back up into the top 3 with a seemingly very good car. His presumed teammate Byron Daly, that car has pulled off the racetrack and retired from the event, so definitely a tough break for him, possibly some overheating issues because he had so much front end damage, so that's unfortunate, but still got the 23 car out here and he's running strong.
The gap sits at 6 seconds right now, and with these laps quickly clicking off, Shane, man, it's going to take a caution or a huge mistake out of Parker Traves in order to make a big difference. Even if he was a couple tenths slower each and every lap, Ryan Dyson has traffic to deal with and plenty of other crazy things going on in front of him, so it's going to be interesting, but I think this... with the way that this race is spread out and the way the traffic's been, a lot of these drivers are pretty much stuck where they are.
Unless we see the caution that we saw that broke up the first initial long green flag run with Mike Telly, or possibly losing a tire into the corner. I mean, you're right, Steve. There's no way someone's just going to wreck the car for no reason. Everyone's under control. We're going to have some kind of failure of some sort to cause a caution. And with this lead that Parker's built, and there's only 18.5-second lap times these guys are turning, he's put the 2nd place driver of Ryan Dyson a 1/3 of a lap down, and that's the 2nd place driver. And J.D. Laird, he's 12 seconds off the lead lap, so you know that's a long ways as well. So I mean, Parker's got an insane amount of breathing room, and he's just got to take it easy here for these last 30 laps or so, and just bring that car home.
Right now Dyson's in really heavy traffic trying to get around the 16 there, and Michael Thompson not going to fight him too hard. They're going to let him by on the inside, so that'll be okay. But I mean, that gap continues to stretch out. Now Shane Tarian, he's been passed by Joe Lawrence now and Kyle Holzhausen, so drivers right now that I didn't expect to see fall off like this, they're still struggling. Derek Holzhausen's been able to stay in front of our leader of Parker Traves, but just barely.
Yeah, just barely. And Parker, he's not laying back at all. He's extended that lead from 6 seconds to almost 7.5, just being behind Derek. So he's definitely not being affected by that 87 car at all. It's that Derek's maybe picked up the pace a little bit more and done a nice job of staying in front of Parker, but now Parker is the closest he's ever been so far to that rear bumper, and this could be bad news for Derek, because if he does go a lap down, that's going to be hard to come back from if we don't get a caution.
Oh yeah, if there's no caution, there is no coming back from it, Shane. He's, you know, his grave is already dug. It's just a matter of fact where, you know, the meteorologist here's called for rain, but he's not really sure. It's either going to be a hit or a miss. If we get a caution, you know, he'll be back in the game here. If there's no caution, he's got no hope pretty much. So the same really goes for everyone out on the track. If we don't get a caution and this number 60 continues the way it is, he might just be in position to walk away with this one with ease.
And if Parker is able to pull this win off, it's going to be very interesting, because that car did not show the long run speed early on in the first half of the race that we really possibly even expected. He's very skilled and has a lot of experience on these super late models, but it's just something they did on that pit stop at the halfway break that really helped that car and pretty much made it invincible at this point, because he's pulled away so far from the rest of the field that pretty much in his own zip code for the rest of this race, and going to be definitely interesting to see maybe exactly what Parker did to the car.
Traves still hasn't been able to get around Derek in front of him, and Derek's actually started to pull away just a bit here.
He definitely has, and they're actually getting ready to catch the 38 of Shane Terrian a little bit up here. And Shane's falling back to 6th. He was in the top 3 on the initial restart, but he's unfortunately fallen back and could be in not only in trouble of losing 7th, but losing the lead lap. And there he goes, the 7th place. He goes because of Derek Holzhausen makes the pass for 6th, and here comes Parker Traves with a 7.5 second lead still, and just about 20 laps to go or so at this point. So not a lot of things to gain at this point for Parker. He'll probably just lay it back and take his time getting around Shane if he even elects to pass him because of how big that gap is.
Terrian goes down here, and that's the driver that is put into the tough spot where even if caution comes out, you got to start at the end of the longest line with 18 laps to go. You're not making it through the field, and continue. You just kind of want to ride. 7.5 seconds back. Then J.D. Laird's in 3rd, he's 11.5 seconds back. All of those drivers really have not much of a chance to get back up here.
And even if we do see a caution with that takeoff speed that we saw out of Parker, he pretty much has second lead after the second or lap so after the restart. So that car very fast, obviously made the magic touch as I said earlier on, and that car is pretty much unstoppable at this point. And even if we do get a caution and a restart, I'm pretty confident that Parker is going to be able to pull away once again and build another lead up to end the race. So he just got to, really play his cards and do the best he can at this point, and that car pretty much destined for victory at this point.
13 laps remain here at 5 flags, and that's equivalent to about 6 minutes of racing, a little bit under. So Shane, these drivers, this race has come down to it. Unless there's a caution within the next probably about 6-7 laps, this race is done.
And just as you said,
oh my gosh,
the caution comes out. Wow.
Just as I said it too, and that's exactly what Shane Terry didn't want to see, because now he's not going to be the lucky dog. But this is what everyone else wanted to see.
And this caution actually is going to be for the 38 of Shane Terry, and then I guess we'll get a replay up on that, but he's going to go ahead and spin out in turn 2.
Yeah, we've got that replay up. Very strange. It looks like that machine just loops it up and around, and that brings out the caution.
Yeah, it doesn't hit anything, but definitely the handling issues unfortunately unfold there for Shane, and he is 1 lap down. As you said, Steve, not a lot for him to gain at this point, because he's not going to be the lucky dog after wrecking there, and definitely, really going to be stuck where he is. So he's 7th right now. Looks like the 84 Ryan Beagle, who is 1 lap down, will get the lucky dog, and he will come around the field and move up into the top 7. That'll leave us with 7 cars left on the lead lap, but you know, with less than 10 laps we're going to have, not sure exactly how much we'll have. These guys up front, they're not pitting. They're going to stay out, and pretty much it's going to be this restart that's going to decide the race. See if the pace car lights go off this time, and they do, which means we are 1 lap to green before we'll get this race restarted for what should be the final time, and believe it's going to be 6 laps here to go, so it's going to be a very interesting restart. If you get a good start, you're going to have a chance to move up, but any of these guys up front, Parker Traves, as fast as he's been, and also Ryan Dyson, remember, he's still up there for possibly the Hard Charger Award, so he's got a lot to fight for as well. If something happens here, they miss a shift or spin the tires, going to be very interesting to see. As the pace car pulls off, Parker's away. It's a little bit of tire spin there, but we're back on the way.
Gotta be flawless here. Ryan Dyson falls in the third. JD Laird clear on through to second. That number 28 just not quite picking up the pace. They're holding up Joe Lawrence and Derek Holzhausen. So as it lays right now, JD Laird, the only driver, making the run. Huge dive out of Derek Holzhausen. Beautiful move. Beautiful slide job. That is short track racing at its best there. It knocked both Joe Lawrence up out of his groove into Ryan Dyson. They both go up the track. Oh boy, watch these Holzhausen boys. They are coming on the inside here. And this is going to be good.
Yeah, some of that experience paying off. They know how to push these cars no matter how bad the handling is. And nonetheless, here he comes. Here comes Derek Holzhausen and Kyle Holzhausen for the lead. They have quickly caught Parker. And wow, we've only got a couple laps to go. This is going to be interesting. If they're faster, what are they going to use to get around him? They're going to try the high side here. Maybe an arc off the corner. Maybe look for this inside line to be a factor here.
Absolutely incredible move, Shane. Look at that, down to the inside line. You couldn't fit a piece of paper between them. Derek Holzhausen from going almost a lap down to the lead.
Looks like Kyle's going to try and come with him, but Parker's still fighting hard on the outside, and he will fall back into second. But Derek Holzhausen, an amazing comeback. He led the first couple laps of this race, started on the pole, was up front early on, and here we are on the final lap. He is the leader and pulling away.
Absolutely stunning moves there by the driver behind the wheel of that number 87. And here comes to the inside line Kyle Holzhausen to pass Parker Traves. To come across for the final time, though, Derek Holzhausen will be your winner here for the second annual London Recreational Super Late Model Clash here from Five Flags Speedway. Congratulations to everybody, but incredible congratulations to the driver, that number 87. We got to take a look at that final restart.
Yeah, the Holzhausen boys bringing home 1-2 tonight, and after 200 laps, they proved to be the most successful, and they're going to go ahead and enjoy tonight, and definitely think Derek's going to enjoy that prize as well. A lot of money up for tonight's event, and that's a nice way to cap off the event. Come back from pretty much not having a good long-run car and winning the race.
Taking a look here, let's go all the way back to that final restart one last time. We'll go up in the blimp. Let's just track the 87 here. He's right in the middle of your screen. Ryan Dyson gets a really awful restart. maybe spins those tires a lot, gets nailed by Joe Lawrence, stacks it up right in front of Holzhausen, and then Holzhausen has that run, gives him a slight tap coming down the back, still on the back bumper here. They're holding him up, holding him up, holding him up. He looks down to the inside line as Dyson gets loose, and he makes the move about as clean as you're going to be able to do it there. And that's going to be what really is the move of the race.
It definitely is the move of the race, and they had an award for that because Derek definitely deserves it, and he brings home the win because of it. So we'll just have to maybe see if we can get a word with him or Kyle. Definitely going to be interesting to see how they feel.
Don't have a ring-in with Kyle, but I do have Parker Traves up here. Parker, so close but so far. Take us through your night as a whole.
The beginning, I was good, and then just about like lap 50, got super loose, and for the top, up until we had that caution, it was just really loose, hard to hang on. Pitted for tires, made a shit ton of adjustments, and tightened it up, and it was bad fast until caution came out, and they put new tires on, 2 new tires, and just went down from there.
Well, I mean, this series right here, and this race specifically, I mean, it's more than just, you know, you're going balls out here. There's points on the line. Take us through how important a race like this is when you know it, you know, you've got prizes on the line, you've got even some special drivers in the field. What was it like out there?
Oh, it was a blast. You got guys running you really clean, saving their stuff. Like, everyone had a different strategy, and Derek and Kyle Sayers played it the best.
Yeah, really, for sure. I mean, we looked at Derek there, and for the longest time, you were so close to putting him a lap down, and then you weren't able to do so, but then he came back.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Congrats to Derek and Kyle for the top 2 positions, and it was a blast.
All right, Parker, well, thanks for coming up here and talking to us. Congrats on leading the most laps here tonight. Unfortunately, you weren't quite able to bring it home.
Thank you.
The rest of the top 3 is not up in the booth here, Shane, so we'll go over our final thoughts for the night, and then we'll sign off here. Take us through, Shane. What did you think was the most surprising thing we saw here tonight?
Well, the pole sitter, Derek Holzhausen, he led early on, he fell back, and as you said in that interview, Steve, almost got lapped at the end of the race, but even his brother Kyle, these guys, you know, they showed dominance at times, but they both fell back at one point in this race, but it was ultimately a strategy call. As we heard, they took 2 tires on that final pit stop that they made. You know, they worked on their cars, they kept them clean, and they put themselves in that possibility to bring it down pit road and make a call that ultimately gets them first and second tonight. It was perseverance and just really surviving through this entire 200-lap race that ultimately proved to be the dividends.
Now, one of the biggest events of the season that the Upper Edge Racing Series puts on, of course, the London Recreational Racing SLM Clash. Last year we were at Martinsville. This time around we're here at Five Flags, and we're on the brink of iRacing releasing some really cool features, so when we come back with the Upper Edge Racing CMC Sportsman Series next week, I do believe that'll be a little bit too early on the build. It might not be quite out, or either that, or it will be pretty much 2 nights after it's out. So, you know, that'll be exciting, and, you know, the race we saw here was absolutely incredible as well. So I'm just excited to see where this series continues to lead us here on CFI. But here for the night, the Super Late Model Clash is all wrapped up. We saw the Holzhausen brothers. Somehow they did it again at this short track, and they were able to come away with some big-time cash. So was Parker Traves. So for everybody here at CFI and the Upper Edge Racing League, we are off for the night. See you later.